32 December 9th, 2021. Roll call, please. Yeah.
Roll call. Craig Palmer.
Here.
Tom Murphy, I am here. Edwin Dalton. Joe Paletta.
Here.
George Tupons. Here. Luigi Cavallo. Here. Pierre Moran. Alternate members, Charlie Beliveau, Scott Tierman, Edward Norton.
Tonight, Tom Murphy will be acting secretary. He's going to read the ground rules for the public hearing.
Ground Rules Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency. Number one, the applicant or his representative will make his formal presentation to this commission stating the proposed regulated activities, the wetland impacts, and the alternatives which were considered by the applicant. Number two, all comments, discussion, and observations shall be made through the chairman after proper recognition by the chairman. This is necessary to ensure that only one person at a time speaks on any issue, thus making it easier for everyone to understand and for clearer legal transcription. Number three, all persons addressing the commission shall begin by first clearly stating their name and address for the record. If necessary, the person may be asked to spell his name for the record. Number four, following a presentation of the application, the Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency will ask specific questions of the applicant. Number five, after the commission has asked its questions of the applicant, I shall then allow any members of the public who wishes to speak either in favor of this application or against it to address the commission. Number six, I shall then allow the applicant to respond to the comments of the members of the general public. Number seven, I shall then allow any members of the general public who wish to present any additional information or clarifying discussion to do so. Number eight, I shall then provide an opportunity for the applicant to respond to these additional remarks if he or his representative so wishes. Number nine, the Conservation Inland Wetland Agency has 35 days from the date the public hearing commences to complete the public hearing. The commission may ask the applicant for a 35-day extension of the public hearing period if the commission requires any additional information or wishes to schedule a site walk to observe the situation for themselves. And lastly, number 10, the Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency has 35 days from the date when the public hearing is closed to render its decision.
Public hearing, application 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop LLC for the construction of a driveway needed for removal of sediments, vegetation, to reestablish the flow from Steel Brook to the existing spillway at 1115 Main Street, Oakville. Tom, can you read the two letters in, or legal notice, sorry?
Okay, the legal notice, Town of Watertown Conservation Inland Wetland Agencies. The Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agencies of the Town of Watertown will hold a public hearing at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, December 9th, 2021 at Watertown Hall Council Chambers, 61 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, Connecticut, to hear and act upon the following application. Application number 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop LLC for construction of a driveway access way for removal of sediment and vegetation from the Pin Shop Pond to reestablish flow from Steel Brook to the existing spillway at 115 Main Street, Oakville, Connecticut. At this hearing, interested persons may be heard in written communications received. A copy of the application is on file at the Land Use Office at Watertown Town Hall, 61 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, Connecticut. Dated at Watertown, Connecticut, this 25th day of November 2021. Dated at Watertown, Connecticut, this 2nd day of December 2021. Edwin Dalton, Secretary, Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency.
Can you just read those two letters regarding this application?
We have two letters. The first one was sent certified mail November 29th, 2021. Michael Dalton, it was addressed to Michael Dalton, City Clerk, City of Waterbury, 236 Grant Street, Waterbury, Connecticut, 06702. Regarding application number 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop for construction of a new driveway and removal of sediment from Pin Shop Pond at 115 Main Street, Oakville, Connecticut. Dear Mr. Dalton, pursuant to section 22A-43C of the Connecticut General Statutes, encloses a copy of the above referenced application and site development plan. Proposed project is located within 500 feet of the City of Waterbury. The Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency of the Town of Watertown will hold a public hearing on December 9, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. at the Watertown Town Hall Council Chambers, 61 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, Connecticut, to review and discuss the above referenced application. Should you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to contact this office. Sincerely, Musa M. Raffi, Wetlands Enforcement Officer. The other letter is dated November 17, 2021, to whom it may concern. It has been brought to our attention that Old Pin Shop LLC requires access through our property to create an access road to perform work on their property, the Pin Shop Pond. Our primary concern is that we do not lose any parking during this project. Permission for use of our property is contingent on maintaining our current parking lot, number of spaces in the current parking lot. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Sincerely, Mark Bordier, B-O-R-D-I-E-R-E. It's signed by Mark and Joseph Bordier, J&M Hair Care, 263 Main Street, Oakville, Connecticut, 06779.
Will the applicant wishing to speak?
Yes, we have some additional information and a letter from our engineer.
Please introduce yourself, your
All right.
name and address.
Maurice Fabiani, 20 Main Street, Oakville, Connecticut.
Maurice F. Fabiani Jr., Oakville, 20 Main Street, Oakville, Connecticut, the old pin shop.
We have some additional information of the site plan showing the location where we want to work, where the work needs to be done, and to show that it's the closest distance, and it would have the least impact of any other approach to get this work done with the least amount of impact to the pond.
Do you have copies for the commission?
Yes, we do, and a letter from the engineer.
Can you give a copy to the?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to have the secretary read this letter in from the engineering department.
Took the wrong job tonight.
I know. Yeah. Extra.
Letter is from, I think, Teague and Bond, T-I-G-H-E, apologize for the pronunciation. December 9th, 2021, Mr. Musa Raffi, Assistant Wetland Officer, Enforcement Officer, Town of Watertown, 61 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, Connecticut, 06795, regarding Pin Shop Pond Dam. Dear Mr. Raffi, we understand that the owner of Pin Shop Pond Dam is proposing to move some accumulated sediment in Pin Shop Pond to allow for a more direct path of water from the pond's two contributing streams to the dam's stone masonry spillway. We have most recently inspected the Pin Shop Dam Pond in June 2021. From the recent dam inspection, the crest of the earthen embankment appears to be in good alignment with a fairly uniform elevation. Following our inspection, there was a heavy rainfall event and potential upstream dam breach that caused the earthen embankment of Pin Shop Pond Dam to partially overtop at the southern end of the embankment. Overtopping of an earthen embankment dam poses a strong risk for dam failure. Tighe & Bond has not performed a detailed engineering analysis of the hydraulics and effect to the serpentine path of water through the Pin Shop Pond as a result of the accumulated sediment deposits. However, from a general dam safety perspective, conveyance of water from the contributing streams and watershed to and over the dam spillway in an unobstructed manner is important to the safe operation of the dam. A 2007 Roald Hosted hydrologic and hydraulic analysis showed that the dam is anticipated to overtop somewhere between a 25-year and a 50-year rainfall event. A high-hazard dam such as Pin Shop Pond Dam should be capable of safely passing a rainfall event greater than a 50-year storm. The proposed emergency measure to move sediment and directly reconnect the flow path from the contributing streams to the spillway is anticipated to be followed up with improvements to the dam to address the deficient hydraulic capacity. However, this process to design, permit, and make improvements to the dam is lengthy and generally takes more than a year. The owner is ready to make the proposed emergency measure immediately. Very truly yours, Tighe & Bond, Daniel Valentine, P.E., Senior Project Manager, copy Maurice Fabiani, Old Pin Shop, LLC.
The applicant, anything else to add to it? What else is in the last month?
Our only concern would be is if there was anybody had any concerns of an easier way to get to this area that we wish to clean up. We don't know of any other easier way. To come in from Davis Street and cross the
Right.
Waddles Brook and then all the existing wetlands that are there, we're gonna make such a great deal of work and such a mess to get across there.
How long do you think it would take you to complete this, if you did this, what's proposed?
I would think we shouldn't be more than a couple weeks.
Any questions from the commission?
Just a question, how are you gonna build that roadway to get to the bottom?
We're gonna have to fill it in with boulders, large
And
rocks.
So you drive on top, but you're not gonna remove those after?
No,
They're gonna stay there, I see what
yeah. Because there's a concern that this could happen again, of the sediment building up there.
then you have a way to get down there.
We have an access way to get up there, yes. To approach that.
What I understand, excuse me, what I said, this is like a more, like an emergency,
That's what our concern is,
yeah.
that if we don't take care of this soon, and we were to get another rainstorm, that earth dam is in danger.
I see, so
We
by
just
you
need to
doing
get-
this, by you doing what you're saying, the water flow straight down, am I correct?
Correct.
It's not
The
gonna go
water needs to have a direct route from the two brooks to the spillway. And right now, it does not because of the sediment that has blocked its straight access to it.
I see.
Any other questions from the commission?
One, the road you're gonna build, you're gonna leave it there, is that gonna help or hinder, let's say, the flow of the brook?
It shouldn't have any effect on it. Shouldn't have any effect on it.
And the second was, with regards to these letters that were sent to us by, the city and the neighbor especially, barber shop, I mean, has that been addressed? Is that something that you have answered?
Well, the barber shop is here. The owner of the barber shop is here. And we've walked the site with them. They were there at the site walk. And it's up to us. Our intentions are not to take any parking from them. And that's what their concern is, that we cannot take any parking spaces in building this driveway to have an access road to the back. That's our biggest concern.
And
The
you
dirt-
won't, and you won't do that?
No.
Okay.
No, our intent is not to take any parking from them.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions from the town engineer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Maurice, you're going to have to remove some trees, as I stated last month.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. And are you going to go through with this redesign? You know, Ty and Bond mentioned it's the capacity somewhere between a 25-year and a 50-year. Are you going to try to get it to 100 at some point in the future? Is that
I
contemplated?
don't honestly
or-
know what our requirements are to what we have to take it to. Titan Bond would be able to tell us.
Well, that's what it seems like they're indicating in their letter, so,
There would have to be greater than a 50.
right. Well, 100 would seem to be the logical storm to, you know, I'm just wondering if you're anticipating that. Like you said, it's going to take a year. I know how long it could take to get regulatory approval for something like this. So I just wondered if that is in your,
It is in our
timetable,
our
yeah.
plan to reinforce the dam.
okay. All right, that's,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it is in our plan to do that.
The only other thing, Mr. Chairman, I'm concerned about, excuse me, the you know, Maurice said they're going to need large boulders. Someone's going to have to be inspecting this. I don't know if Moose is, you know, someone's going to have to be there almost, not full-time, but at least keep a good eye on what's going on out there during this construction, so.
But I can't do that. That's because I don't have the time to do it.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
well, I don't either, that's the
Like an
point.
inspector?
Right, yeah, or at least, I don't know if your engineer's going to be on site, Maurice, with the, or,
I'm sure they could be,
I think
but to
someone.
have someone there every
some-
day, I don't know if that's necessary.
But they are building on their property. It is not like a public facility that,
No, I understand. I'm just, I
Yeah.
said, I'm concerned, this is a pond.
it
and,
is, yeah.
You know, it's not the easiest way to get down, I mean, it's the easiest way to get down there, but it's not an easy way to get down there, so, you know, there is concern.
But the applicant could at different stages notify engineering that we
Yeah, the haze work,
put in
right.
the first load of, I don't know, you know, at different levels, correct?
Yes, I mean,
Okay, just keep us in the loop.
Mr. Fabiani, normally for a project, they submit like a sequence of construction, that how you do like first you do this, and then second you do this. If you can just come out with something
Yeah,
that
we can
how
get a
you are going to
sequence.
manage this process,
Yeah.
and give it to us, and then we give it to Paul to look at that.
Yeah, we can do that. Do you want me to bring it to you folks, or you want me to bring it right to Paul?
Doesn't
No,
matter,
it's-
bring it
yeah,
to me
bring
or
it to
Paul.
Melissa.
Bring it to
You can bring
and
it to
then-
me, then I will share that with Paul.
Okay, it doesn't need to come to the commission.
Uh,
It needs to at least go to you.
It's up to the
No.
commission that what they want to do tonight with the application. My other question is that this is just, as the engineer explained, this is just for an emergency fix for this problem. But in future, if you want to do those other steps, you will come back with another application in front of the commission?
When we work on the dam.
Yes.
Yeah, I would think that it's not just the commission. I think we're gonna have to go before other boards, possibly DEP and
DEP
Army
and
Corps of
stuff, yeah.
Engineers.
Okay. But this is just for putting the driveway, removing the sediment, that's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Of our immediate concern to try to straighten out the water flow coming through from Waddles Brook and Steel Brook, how it does not have a direct route to the spillway.
Any questions, Musa?
No, Mr. Chairman.
But just for the history here, you have been working with DEP for how many years on some type of
Well,
project, right?
the engineering firm that
Right,
had completed all the drawings so far is no longer in business. Hastead,
right,
and they're no longer in business, and the company that bought Hasted's clients do not deal with contaminated sites. And there are issues with the
Right.
the product that's in the pond.
but there was, even though they're gone, there was a prints and what was gonna have to be done at some point, right?
We have drawings
Right,
of,
so,
if the dam was breached,
right,
we
what you
have
were,
drawings with us.
right,
That could be discussed,
yeah.
but the intent would
No.
not be to breach it.
No,
The
but
intent would
I'm
be
just saying, you've been working on this for years.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Hundreds of
Right.
thousands of dollars with engineering.
Right,
that have been spent
yes.
on this.
Do you have to lower the water level in the pond during the constructions?
No, that's,
Okay. But if you are removing sediments and there is like
Turbulence.
yes, turbidity, that will go over the spillway to the brook. I mean, do you want to like create like kind of like a lower area that while you are working and there is enough time for the sediments to set before the next rain comes and wash everything?
I don't, from what I'm understanding, the involvement with this, that we're not gonna be creating a lot of turbulence in the water. It's a very, very small area that we're working on, and we're not excavating the pond deeper. All we're trying to do is take everything above the flow of the brook.
The brook is always flowing, no?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And the spillway is also that whatever water comes into the pond, it leaves from the spillway.
It goes across the whole.
My concern is that during the construction, during the removal of the sediments, there will be some turbidity in the soil and the
I'm sure
water.
there will be some. I'm
Yes.
sure that, yes.
Okay.
There will be touching the water, so there will be some.
There is no way that you can lower the water a little bit and work and then let it fill back, or?
I'm sure there is a way,
Okay.
I'm sure there is a way, but.
That will be helpful for you. It will be easier for you to, or not?
The amount of time that we're gonna spend removing the sediment would only probably be a few days. Building the road was probably gonna take more time than removing the sediment. Because we're only doing an area, what do we say,
60 by 60?
60 by 60,
Well, now, excuse me, how deep you say you're gonna go, a couple feet?
a couple feet.
2 feet? Right.
So you're not gonna go into the bottom of
No,
the pond at all? That's what they said, that there was condemnation, so.
no, that's not the intent, to re-excavate the brook. It's just to remove the debris
Do you-
and sediment.
Do you think there's been some changes since the dam broke up at Seymour Smith's?
Well, this is the first time that we've gotten that amount of water
Right,
that came through and where it came over the top of the earth dam.
right,
It was on the same time that dam
right.
breached.
On the same storm.
Same storm.
Paul, did you ever get a report on that dam or anything from DEP, what happened, or?
No, Mr. Chairman, actually asked me if I had any records of maintenance of that. I couldn't find anything. I didn't even know it was called the Bedrock Cascade Dam. I didn't even know it had a name. But they had a listing and a dam number for it.
Right.
No one, you know.
But nothing's
and-
ever followed up of what happened or why? or-
No, it's just, that sudden 200 to 300 year
Right.
storm we had, so.
And that was, what was that storm considered?
Somewhere between a 200 and 300 year storm, which is beyond what we designed for, which is normally 100 maximum.
So, I mean, we made it through somewhere between a 200 and 300 year storm. So I think we're already built to a 100-year storm.
Right.
And we're already trying to make a little improvement on that.
Any other questions from the commission? Anybody from the public wishing to speak on this application? Anybody from the public?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
just
sir.
for the record, this letter that we received from the neighbors concerning their parking lots
Right.
and stuff, that is like a civil issue between the two parties. If the commission makes any decision on this, suppose they want to approve this, if there is anything goes wrong, that is between you two. The commission is not responsible because they have no jurisdiction over somebody else's property to give you a permit to do work there. That is like an agreement between the two parties. I just want you to know, and the record should be clear, that the town is not liable for any problems there because the commission approved this project. I hope that you two parties, you work together and find a solution and work in a way that you don't block their parking lot or block their driveway or whatever you have to do. And the only thing that I ask for is the sequence of construction. If this engineer can just provide something, that how you can manage this, how you start from where. First you cut the trees, second you remove something or bring the fill, just a sequence, and just bring it to me. Other than that, I don't have any other comments, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for application 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop
Second.
LLC.
Motion made in second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Going on to the regular meeting. Anybody from the public wishing to speak at the regular meeting? Anybody from the public? Thank you. Action on minutes. We have, first one, regular meeting, October 14th, 2021. The second one is regular meeting, November 18th, 2021. Did everybody receive the minutes?
You only have the first item, regular meeting, October 14th,
Right.
2021. It was from last month.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Murphy wanted to table to
Table, just that I wasn't here and there weren't enough people that were here
To hear, okay.
to act on it. That's the
to
only reason
act
why.
on it, okay.
Yeah.
You have that, but the second one, I think Mark Massoud, he said that he wants to look at that before he send it to you for your approval.
Okay. Any questions on the October minutes?
I'll move that, accept the regular meeting, October 14, 2021.
I'll abstain for lack of attendance.
I'll second it.
Motion made in second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Abstain.
Pending applications, one, application
Okay,
20.
item 2, you should table that.
Make a motion, we table, regular meeting minutes of November 18th, 2021.
Second. Motion made in second. Any questions on it? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Pending applications, application 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop LLC for the construction of a driveway needed for the removal of sediments, vegetation to reestablish the flow from Steel Brook to the existing spillway at 1115 Main Street, Oakville. What's the preference of the commission here on this?
Can we vote tonight?
We can vote to approve.
You can, yeah,
Right.
you can
Yes.
vote on
We
this
could,
tonight.
right?
Yep.
I'll move that application 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop LLC for construction of driveway needed to removal sediment and vegetation be approved.
It should be subject to standard conditions, and also they should submit a sequence of construction for the town engineer and wetland officer to review and approve.
I thought these are, we always do that. It's
I'm
part
sorry?
of it. I thought every time we make a motion, it's part of it.
Yes, please add that to your
Yes.
motion, yes.
I'll include that to your motion.
I'll second that.
Motion made in second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. New application, application 2021-36 of Bassett Farm LLC for construction of single-family home, an accessory dwelling, a common driveway, an on-site septic system on a parcel of land, map 10, block 26, lot 2A, Bassett Road, Watertown, Connecticut. Good evening.
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, my name is Michael Lambert, professional engineer with Civil 1 at 43 Sherman Hill Road, Woodbury. Here on behalf of the applicant, Bassett Farm LLC. So the project, I apologize. All right. Good evening, Commission members. Again, Michael Lambert, professional engineer with Civil 1, 43 Sherman Hill Road, Woodbury. Here on behalf of the applicant, Bassett Farm LLC. So as it was stated, the property is 1150 Bassett Road, map 10, block 26, lot 2A. Apologize for not having the easel today, as another coworker had at another meeting. But the property here is kind of located between Gilbert Road to the north, Linkfield Road to the south, on the western side of Bassett Road. So the project's, as I said, 22 acres. There's about 6.37 acres of wetlands that's on the property. The property was originally part of a 5-lot subdivision back in 2008. Ended up never fully, it did get wetlands approvals, just never got filed, never got built. So now the property owner is looking to do just a single-family house with a detached garage and a accessory dwelling unit kind of in the back. So as you've got the road kind of coming through, you've got your single-family house. It's a 2-bedroom house, a detached garage, and your accessory dwelling / barn at the further rear of the site. Part of the original 2008 approval, there was about 1,176 square feet of wetland disturbance and 16,771 square feet of upland review disturbance. So with our project here, just kind of give a closer view of the actual development. The roadway that we had proposed here is very identical to what was approved back in 2008. So the alignment, the grades that were done before match what was previously approved, and we're matching that. At this wetland crossing, previously at the approval was a 4-foot tall by 6-foot wide box culvert. Through our calculations, the numbers that are available for stream stats, that was slightly undersized. We're increasing that to an 8-foot wide box culvert as opposed to a 6-foot wide. It's still gonna be 4 feet high, 24 feet long. To be able to handle the stream that's going through the site, to still be able to convey water from one side to the other on the wetlands. Also on the 2008 plans, there was 4 15-inch culverts that allow the hydraulic connectivity between the wetlands from the north to south sides to still be able to interact with each other. Because as you put that road in, the wetlands right before the wetland crossings is a fairly wide wetland area, so to be able to handle that connectivity, be able to still have that flow drainage just from a wetland standpoint, we had copied that, those 4 15-inch pipes also. And then as we kind of come through, like I said, the driveway before it matches what we were doing. We've also added stone infiltration trenches on either side of the driveway at the, closer to between the house and the wetland crossing, as well as from the wetland crossing up to close to Bassett Road. This was designed to be able to handle water quality volumes, to be able to take the roadway drainage runoff, be able to provide water quality before it, to allow the infiltration before it flows in towards the wetlands or the stream. As we're down at the bottom of a fairly large watershed, the idea here was not to have any detention, not to be able to hold back water, just be able to have it flush out, go downstream, not mess with the peak flows of that main watershed. The other impact that we have from an upland review standpoint is we have a small little rain garden up in this area that's going to handle the roof runoffs from our main residential building, our garage, and a small area of the driveway that's going to drain into a yard drain before it goes into the rain garden. Likewise, the accessory building in the rear also has a rain garden, but all that disturbance is going to be outside of that 100-foot upland review area. So that kind of concedes my presentation. I'd be open to any questions that you guys may have.
What's the difference in the activity in the wetlands? Was it from?
Oh, I'm sorry. So the original plan in 2008 had 1,176 square feet of wetland disturbance.
Right.
This plan has 1,905. There is a little bit of a difference there. Although the wetland configuration is very close to being the same, we just had a soil scientist go out there this past October, flag it, survey it. So there is the slight difference there. But we are still under 2,000 square feet of direct wetland disturbance. From an upland review standpoint, the original plans had 16,771 square feet of upland review disturbance. This plan has 19,365. A lot of that is just small little differences of where the wetland flags landed between what was done in 2008 and what was done this past year.
Any questions from the commission? I think first we gotta determine whether it's a significant.
Question for you is regarding the house size and the dwelling size, square footage wise, and what's the difference between an accessory dwelling with 2 bedrooms and a house with 2 bedrooms? I mean, is the accessory dwelling, will it be able to have kitchens and stuff like that and be a full in-law apartment type thing? Or
Yes.
Basically second house?
Yep. So it is going to be, I believe the ground floor is going to be more of a barn-style use, and then the second floor up on top would be more of that in-law 2-bedroom use. We do have the plans submitted to Torrington Area Health within the last week or two. We haven't received any comments or approvals from them yet, but that process is ongoing currently.
Mr. Chairman, can I clarify a little bit? From the zoning perspective, that's the second house, because an in-law apartment has to be inside the main house. It should be a part of the house. This is a separate house. And the in-law apartment and the zoning regulations, they call it accessory dwelling unit, but if it's a separate house, they call it accessory dwelling. Basically, you can have 2 houses on the same lot. This is that situation. This is not an in-law apartment. The in-law apartment has to be a part of the house. They're just basically 2 houses.
So I could be
a big house and a small house. Yeah.
All right, so I apologize if I'm misspeaking on the intended use. I had a colleague, Brian Baker, was the main manager on this project, so I'm not fully entailed with that, but I believe that's a zoning issue, not a wetland issue.
And plus check with the Torrington Area Health District to see if you need separate septic system for each unit.
No, they can have the same, they can share a septic. I believe water supply is supposed to be different. I'm not sure, I haven't had this.
That's something that check
Yeah.
with the health department to
Yeah.
make sure that. And the other question is, basically the impact within the regulated area, even if you're building only 2 houses compared to 5 building lots, it is more.
So
Right.
I might have had the numbers incorrect here, but those numbers were just for this development. So the 5 lots was actually originally, although we've got 20 acres here, it also included part of developing this area, which is a separate lot. So this area here was only about give or take about 3 of the 5 lots. This area on this piece of property was another two lots. I'm not 100% sure on these numbers, but I believe these numbers were just for this roadway development. Those numbers did not include the other lots. I'll double check with
Well, we're gonna-
my colleague and I can get
Is the rest of it gonna become open space
the rest of our property.
and the other,
I'm not sure what
oh, okay.
the property owner is doing
Oh.
with that, but on this one, all he's gonna be doing is just his 3 buildings for the single-family use.
Right.
Question 2, we're saying the 2008 subdivision, which I realize, was 5 lots approved now. Are those still existing permits, or they've expired?
No, they expired.
So basically, it's just for reference saying you're making it better than it was.
Yes.
That's all. So really, it's just, there's no bearing on our committee. We have to
No.
deal with 2008. Okay.
No, it was just more of
Yep,
a
that's fine.
reference point.
Ratification, that's
Yep.
good.
I think we gotta determine if this is a significant activity or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
There's like 7 acres of wetland involved.
Correct. Yeah. Get a crossing it, so. Motion.
Yeah, what's the application number?
Motion to move for application 2021-36 of Bassett Farms LLC to be a significant activity in the wetlands.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So we'll schedule a public hearing and a site walk.
All right.
All right.
Can I see 1 second?
Table?
Correct.
This is probably just cut and paste error. That was the last job you guys did. Okay. No sweat. Understood.
Just make a motion to hold a public hearing on this application.
Also, can you please get the signature of the property owner on the application that they
Yes.
authorize you
Yeah,
as an
and a site.
authorized agent? They
Yeah.
forgot to sign that part.
Yeah, I can
Please do
make
that.
sure that we get that done.
Make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to schedule a sidewalk and a public hearing for application 2021-36.
Your next meeting is on January 13th, and the Saturday before the next meeting will be January 8th.
2022.
A second on that?
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
All right, I just want to make sure it's, the 13th is the public hearing, and then the
The
18th
8th
is.
will be the site walk.
Sidewalk.
Oh, the 8th?
Yes, yes, at
Alright.
9 a.m. in the morning. 9 is good?
Right. And then we received the instructions on the sidewalk, correct?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes.
So it'll be flagged, accessible.
Yep. Yeah, we'll make sure that that's done.
Let's make a motion to table.
Make a motion to table, application
Second.
2021.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any extensions?
All right,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. 2, application 2021-38 of the Town of Watertown Department of Public Works for the installation of an 8-inch PVC fire line and construction of a 24 by 24 fire pond at 0 Crusoe Drive. We do have the fire marshal present tonight, Kim Calabrese.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Paul Benevich, Watertown Town Engineer, and as you've seen, Kim Calabrese, Fire Marshal, is here also for any questions. This application is due to the fact that Waters of Winnebago developer did not put in an underground storage fire tank as was originally proposed on the original subdivision back in 2006, whatever it was, early over 10 years ago. The construction's taken a while to complete. He's trying to get this accepted within, probably, of course, it's going to be next year by the time everything is installed. But one of the things they had to do is put this tank in, and after discussion with the developer, the area, he's not complaining, he stated there's so much rock out here, he'd have to blast for the tank and the location it was supposed to go, also, Ms. Calabrese would say that's supposed to be double. It's now 20,000 square feet, gallons, Kim, right?
I was trying to avoid sitting up here. Kim Calabrese, Fire Marshal,
Address, please.
77 Claremont Street, Oakville. In the proposed plan for the subdivision, it was originally asked that the dry hydrant was connected to the pond prior to, if not in lieu of that, they were able to put in a tank. At that time, it was a 10,000 gallon tank. Rules have changed since then. 5 houses and more requires a 20,000 gallon tank. And the problem that they're having is that there is a lot of blasting to be done to do that. Plus the slope is too steep where they are to get the adequate flow if they were going to go into the lake. Blasting causes a concern now because houses are already up. So blasting right next to the house would be a problem. So the proposed site has been just modified at this time. If you want.
Yeah, it's going to the end of Caruso Drive before it splits off into where it connects towards Flintlock at the end of the proposed cul-de-sac. The elevation here is 6 or 8 feet lower than where the old tank or dry hydrant construction be, so the lift is a lot easier to get through the fire, through the pipe for fire control. So that's why this moved down. Also, there's drainage issue. There's a drainage structure at the end of the drive with a riprap swale we're trying to avoid, and we're putting in a pond sump area so that we don't go into the lake itself, but that water will drain into this pond, this little 24 by 24, 6-foot deep sump area. So I'll have storage, fire water, water storage there that we can draw from the dry hydrant during a fire. So, and the Civil One's engineer has designed this so that there's enough capacity in this, and I checked that myself. So this should be sufficient for. What's the fire, what is the gallon?
The 1,500 gallons per minute.
1,500 gallons per minute required by fire code.
We have requested that they test that before we certify that it's okay. The fire chief had asked me if we could make sure that we test that before they okay it. They have gone up in the pipe size for us from a 6-inch to an 8-inch, and that should help out that water flow.
So the sump is built off the lake?
Right,
pond.
correct, yeah. There's
So
just going to be a connecting swale to the lake
Right,
so
so
that water will flow in and out.
it says a 10-foot wide channel connected to the water's edge 2 foot deep. See where it says there on the map?
Yeah, I thought I asked the engineer to revise this to
Right,
2.5 feet
Right,
deep,
because the
because the
town
lowest,
controls the water level, so in August, it's gonna be below 2 feet. This is,
well, the records I've seen, it never, well, I can't say never, but it usually isn't more than 2 feet below this elevation it is now. At least,
but if it's
which
2
this
feet below, it's not gonna go in that
well,
pool.
that's why I wanted him to lower it at least
Right.
another half a foot, so that it would do that. And even if that is well, it would have to be monitored during drought conditions or when the lake is lowered, because to make sure there's enough water going in there,
Right.
even if we have to temporarily excavate a small additional, another 6-inch deep channel.
Right. I mean, who's gonna be in charge of?
Well, Highway's gonna,
Oh, they're gonna watch
we're gonna
it?
monitor,
All right,
well,
okay.
me, is gonna monitor them, with them, so, yeah.
Because you're pretty much on the crust of the elevation, because the bottom of the pond is what, 654, and the hydrant's 672, so I'm not that smart, but I think that's 18 feet, right?
Right.
You're right on the
I know,
edge
that's,
of
but like I
that,
said,
oh,
this
edge
is,
of that working.
I know, because this is
Yeah.
like I forget if it's at
Right.
least 6 feet below where the
Yeah.
other location, so it's certainly, I know it's near
This
the.
was definitely a better location to
Right.
go in because of the
Yeah.
elevation, and that's why they picked it.
Right. Maybe increase that pipe size to 10-inch.
We can
Yeah, we
definitely
can-
ask them that, that's not a
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah, that won't be an issue.
Any questions from the commission on this?
How far away there's public water just up the hill?
Negative.
How far is it?
So the next water source is a dry hydrant that was put in on the first phase of this development, which was done, I don't even know what year it was done, but
Yeah,
it's on Sylvan Lake. It's on Lake Winnemog Road itself.
into the lake.
right near the dock where the boating launch is, so over there on the left-hand side, and measured out, these will overlap if,
But I mean, where's the nearest hydrant, like over near Middlebury Road or something? No,
it's
it's not
probably
over
down-
there. It's
it's-
probably all the way over on Kimberly Lane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right,
One that self-flushes?
and there's
Right.
none on the Flintlock side either.
Yeah.
This will obviously reach to that Flintlock gate, plus it'll go past where the first dry hydrant would have been able to reach, so they'll overlap, the house is in the middle. The ideal spot was obviously the first spot, however, and they would both overlap that way. This one will overlap for sure.
So there's no driveway into it, you just go into the turnaround.
This is
There'll be-
the actual it's the actual
Right, so
cul-de-sac.
the
There is
access
a
will be-
driveway off there, and then
Right.
there is the smaller road right now where it's still, there's still some older houses on it, some
Right.
smaller houses on there that have I believe they have a lease for life kind of thing going on, so those aren't developed as of yet. The plan in the future is to develop on those. So we want to make sure, and the houses that are going up there are a larger size, with no fire protection at this point, so, there's just no way to get, you have the only dry hydrant you have, the only hydrant you have is the one on Lake Winnemog Road right now.
Do you think the Flint Rock Road where that gate will ever be connected there? There's a gate there now. Make
That's a
sure-
good question from P&Z. I think
Oh.
this is how they approved it, yes. That this will be owned privately, that section.
Any questions from the commission on this?
I have a question. And this will be paid for by the developer.
That's correct, yes. It's in lieu of the tank, so he's.
The original plan was to put a tank in, and he keeps saying a tank, it was to connect to the lake first, and a tank if they weren't able to do that. And they're finding it so that they can connect to the lake here. The reason why, the concern that Mr. Palmer's talking about is with the lake level, is that is one of the areas of the lake that is lower water. There's not a lot of water in that area of the lake.
Depth of water.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the depth
Obviously,
of
it's the
depth of
same.
water.
It's the same.
Yeah, no, yeah, I meant the depth there is a little lower than the rest of the lake. The other side is a little deeper.
Yeah.
So obviously, using the whole lake water would be much better than 20,000 gallons if we needed water for fire protection.
You have to put a boat in the budget, Paul, for engineering with a ruler to be
Yeah,
out
it
there to
seemed
measure.
like. But as Kim said, this will help the Flintlock side of this also.
Right.
Well, we can't get through right now to the Flintlock side. There's a gate there, but,
Well, that's why
but
we need
that,
at least,
that
yeah.
smaller road that goes up to Flintlock, correct, it will.
Right. Maybe
Yes.
the fire marshal could check with that clarification of opening that, well, we can, or the fire department can always open the gate, but there probably should be some access there. Any questions? Make a motion to approve.
Can we approve it tonight? We approve, right?
Yeah,
I'll move that,
It's a new application,
Right.
we're not making a decision tonight.
even for the winter.
So give them
It's a-
authorized
we wanna
mediation
push this through.
permit for 14 days.
Right,
Even-
that's what you want to do.
Even as an emergency, excuse,
Yeah, 14 days.
Or actually, if it's like an emergency.
we
Well,
can sit,
Yeah.
We want to get it in before it
Yeah.
gets too cold. That's the problem, because the houses are already there. So
This-
Right.
this
we're
is-
trying to,
this is an emergent, in
I
a
just
sense, an
wanted
emergency.
to
No.
make a comment for the record that
Yes.
installation of a dry hydrant is actually a permitted use as
Right.
of non-regulated
That's in our
activity.
bylaws, yes.
It is because of the second part that they are digging a pond in the lake. That part is like regulated activity. If they were only installing a dry hydrant, they didn't have to come here.
Will they-
It is
Will they put a
permitted,
fence
yes.
around that
the
sub-pond?
the pond thing, yeah,
Yeah.
there's plans to put the strainer on the bottom, plus the way he explained it was like a cage, like
Yeah.
a, so to keep,
but a fence
to keep
around the top of
debris,
the-
yeah, to
yeah.
keep the debris and leaves and things out of there so it wouldn't clog up.
And that will be underwater? It's not visible? It's not going to be?
I couldn't tell you that. When he explained it to me, he said it would be protected by that type of thing. I was worried about the same
Considering the
thing,
pond,
animals and.
considering this is going to be 6 feet deep, I believe it would be underwater, yeah. I
Underwater.
think Mr. Palmer's talking about an actual barrier fence around.
A regular fence around the top for,
Yeah, we can, that's, I mean, that's, we'll get him to
Okay,
do
Mr.
that.
Chairman, I'll move that application 2021-38 of the Town of Watertown Department of Public Works, installation of we went to 10-inch, right?
10-inch pipe.
10-inch PVC fire line and construction of 24 feet by 24 feet fire plant and Zero Corrosion Drive, Watertown, Connecticut, be approved, subject to standard conditions.
Yes, and due to an emergency situation.
Okay.
Second. Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim.
Mr. Chairman, I'll abstain from the next one.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just for the record, Joe Blood is going to abstain from this. 3, application 2021-39, Giuseppe Paletta for the filling and regulated areas for the construction of a single-family homes on Lot 11 and Lot 12 Lakeview Estate Subdivision, Lakeview Drive, Watertown.
Mr. Chairman, the soil scientist who flagged the wetland on this property,
Right.
his name is Dave Lord.
Yes.
He's supposed to come here tonight and represent Mr. Paletta. He called the office, and because he had a conflict with another meeting,
All right.
he asked me to ask the commission to please table this and schedule a site walk, and he will be on the site walk to explain to you and show you around what is going on.
That'll be January 8th, correct?
Yeah, January 8th.
Make that a motion.
Motion to table and schedule
To
site
accept the
walk.
application,
Or-
and yes.
Accept application, schedule site walk for January 8th, and table application 2021-39.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Yes. Old business, notice of violation issued to the owner of 30 Jericho Road, Watertown. And 2, discussion and application review process by the agency.
Nothing new, Mr. Chairman. Yes, please keep them on the agenda.
Need a motion to
You need a motion to
table.
table it.
Here.
I make a motion, we table items 1 and 2 under old business.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. New business, application 2021-37 of Park Road Properties LLC for the transfer of a permit 2018-21 for the Dover Benedict Group LLC to Park Road Properties LLC located at the intersection of Park Road and Calendar Road, Watertown.
Yeah, we just need a motion to transfer that permit from that name to this new name, that's all.
Make a motion to transfer the permit.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
It should be subject to the approval, conditions of approval, yes.
Sure.
So moved.
Communications and bill, Connecticut Land Conservation Council letter dated November 17, 2021. And 2, the referral to the city of Waterbury regarding application 2021-35 of the Old Pin Shop LLC located within 500 feet of the city of Waterbury, which we addressed in the.
Motion to accept and file.
Right.
I'm sorry?
We read that in at the.
Yes, you did, because that property is within 500 feet from another municipality, we have to notify them, and we did.
Motion to accept the file communications 1 and 2.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, motion carries. Reports from officers and committees, chairman's report. I received a call about the work going on in the dog park, so I went down there to look at it. And I looked at the application, and maybe Paul can explain, the application doesn't match the work, and I don't know why we don't have silt fence and protection when we make, the private people go through it.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I know they, for the record, yeah, Paul Benovich, Town Engineer. I know they put silt fence out there the other day, and there was a question about whether it was notched into the ground. I had them at least cover the, silt, put some soil in so that, they would kind of more realize what an actual silt fence is supposed to do is no water, silt doesn't migrate, especially towards Steel Brook, which is a, endangered water, or forget the actual term, it's a distressed waterway, so we're concerned with that. So that's been in. We're proposing to, well, let's see, where's the original?
It just looked like the scope of the project was two different things. Maybe I'm missing something.
Let me read the regulated activity that was
Yeah, sure.
approved for this. It was the 6 white birch trees and 10 evergreen trees to be planted within a regulated area and restore vegetation with wetland seed mix. That was one of the things. And temporary disturbance of approximately 161 linear feet of wetlands area for installation of a drain line for water fountain and water main connection, and then installation of erosion and sediment control measures within upland review area. I think, Mr. Chairman said that the person who called was they brought a lot of fill there. Was that a part of the approval? And I didn't have an answer.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Well, apparently it wasn't under regulated activity, whether this was, well, that would have been in, excuse me, the regulated area was still 100 feet back in 2016, is that
Yes,
correct? Yeah,
it was
had been-
100 feet.
It had been changed from 50 to 100. So the only answer I have is that there was I was certainly involved in this project, certainly predates my coming to the town, but there's a depression right off where we're going to put parking off the existing driveway to the old treatment plant, we call it, the old fire district treatment plant. And for ADA compliance, we couldn't make the grade from the parking to the dog park section, so we had the highways bringing in fill to make that more ADA compliant. And I wasn't aware about this is the first time I'd seen this. I didn't even see this before. I didn't even look at the packet. I confess I didn't look through everything when Roseanne delivered it to me. But I see obviously where it's outside the scope of what was originally approved, but the intent was not to make a more, certainly filling wetlands or anything. It's really the only wetlands, well, I can't say that. I don't have the plan in front of me, but
There is a
obviously-
copy of the plan that you have.
I know.
I give you this. Do you have it?
I know somewhere I have, let's see.
With that memo. No, that's,
No, that's been shot.
you want to borrow this?
Yep, no, I've got it, it's under there, yep. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Paul, I just don't know how they're gonna stabilize it for the winter, because the growing season's over. And, to me, the problem I have here with this is, we make the public go through
Oh, I understand, yeah.
hoops, and we make people, spend money to get engineers and correct problems that are done. The town should be number one, not number 100. So
Right,
to me,
no, I understand.
I don't know what the commission wants to do about it, but I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I put a lot of time in this, or volunteering here. What do we have a commission for? If the town's just gonna do what it wants to do. I don't get it. So I'd like to get some type of report or answer from somebody. Somebody had to tell somebody what to do. They just didn't show up there and start doing what they did.
No, right.
So there has to be some directive or some order, and I just don't get it. Do you have any,
Who's doing the job?
the town of Watertown?
Oh,
Yeah, the town should be the example
Right.
to the others.
Well, the stream crossing for the water line, that hasn't changed. That's the
Right.
one, we still had to do that. This is the work down behind the parking area where they were filling for, and I don't know what the well, I assume there was topo done originally. I don't know how they missed this hole that was going to
Right.
be filled, at least in my estimation, so,
Well, I went there to check to see what's going on, and then I called, and they put the siphons there. If you look at there is a large area, it is draining to just one point, and it is going into the brook.
Right.
If we have like an inch of rain or something, all that topsoil that they put, it will be washed out into one point.
right. Our latest intent, which of course wasn't part of the original approval, is to put a rain garden in off of that parking area, off the driveway.
Yeah.
And have it bermed up so that there is water coming from the properties on Main Street, the advanced
They
auto.
didn't follow the plan.
No.
That's what,
Right. But that was an intent to mitigate what they're doing now. There is an intent to mitigate what they're doing. And I don't have that plan of what, my assistant Joe Millette just showed me at the end of the day today. I didn't even have a chance to, it was just a reduction. I didn't have a full-size plan to bring to the commission, so. But there is an intent to mitigate what the work they've been doing out there. It's not that
Well, I
they're
think
just
they
going.
gotta come back before the commission before they put a rain guard and keep going here. That's what we would do in a regular circumstance.
Right,
I don't
right.
understand.
Yep.
Musa, maybe you could write a letter to Public Works and the Park and Rec and the town manager and find out how we're gonna proceed here.
What do you want to write, basically?
Well, I'm just saying, we
Yes.
don't have the plan they worked off of.
Okay.
And they're gonna put a
Basically-
rain guard, so somebody knows.
The way that they constructed the park, they didn't follow the plan that was approved by the commission?
No,
That's what,
right. they
No,
did.
that's what you want me to
He
write?
admitted that, so, right.
okay.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's,
And
Okay,
somebody-
I will send a memo too.
And maybe schedule the site walk on the 8th while we're
Okay.
out and about. Any other comments from the commission? To report from Wetlands Regulations Review Subcommittee.
see, I'm sorry, Mr., didn't they have to vote on
Oh,
what?
there
they
will
did?
be a site walk on the 8th?
No, but they don't have to vote, they didn't have a vote for what you're just discussing.
This was the chairman's report.
Oh,
They
I'm
just-
sorry,
they-
I'm sorry.
They
There's
just
no-
directed
I'm
me
out of
to,
order here, I don't
yes.
mean to be. I'm used to saying, oh, yeah, I gotta vote on.
it was an application.
Right, okay,
yes.
yeah, got it.
It was
All
just a direction, no? You directed me to write a
Correct,
letter
yep.
and also
Yes, got it, I'm sorry,
do that site walk.
understood.
Okay, Wetlands Subcommittee met last month. We received, tonight, the committee received the regulations with the changes, the proposed changes in it. We're going to meet this Wednesday at 2:30 as a committee to review them, to make sure it's what we propose, and the next meeting we'll present them to the board, the committee.
Reports from staff, none. Public participation.
Mr. Chairman, you want me to keep that? You need a motion to table
Subcommittee.
1 and 2, yes. Somebody make a motion?
I make a motion, we table items 1 and 2.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Reports from staff, none. Reports from the public. Adjournment at 7:33.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
6:02 to 7:30.
Recording stopped.
Not bad.